If you've been following along with me for my egg freezing journey, then you know exactly what time it is. It's time to talk about egg freezing surgery. If you're new here, my name's Tayyaba, and I got my eggs frozen in downtown Toronto. In this video series, I've been sharing everything about my egg freezing journey. So the follow-ups, the blood work, the assessments that were done, the cost, and now we're getting to the final video of the series, which is the egg freezing surgery. So if that sounds interesting to you, then let's jump right into it. So on the day of the surgery, I came into the clinic bright and early at 7:30 in the morning, and the clinic asked for me to bring someone with me. So I had my mom come along with me. The entire process took about 3 hours. So I got in around 7:30 and I finished at 10:30 in the morning. So first you come into the clinic, you have to verify your identity. So make sure you bring ID. And then I sat in the waiting room. They gave me a gown. I got dressed, or undressed and dressed. I put the gown on, and then one of the nurses came and hooked me up to an IV. There were also privacy curtains, but they weren't being used. In terms of medications that I had to take, they gave me midazolam to keep me a little bit sleepy. I also had lorazepam. They started me on a saline drip. They also gave me ondansetron for nausea, and they also had Gravol on deck just in case. And then after the surgery, I got some Tylenol or acetaminophen for some of the pain. So again, it was really relaxed, really chill environment. I was talking to my mom. We were having like a good time. The nurse came in and checked on you every couple minutes and just kind of got everything ready for surgery. So when you go into the surgery room, it's a dark room and there's this bed that you can sit on. So you lay down on your back, then the doctor and the nurses introduce themselves as well as the lab technician. The entire process took maybe 10 or 20 minutes. Like, it was a very, very quick surgery. Essentially what happens is there's a tube that's inserted through the vaginal wall, and then through that tube, a needle goes through the vaginal wall and then starts going into each of the ovaries. So you can feel the pinch when it goes through the skin in that area. What I would say is more uncomfortable and hurts more is actually when they drain each of the follicles and they get the egg out. You can actually feel when the needle pokes each of the follicles, and that was kind of uncomfortable. I have a pretty high pain tolerance, and of course I was on pain medications, but even for me, it was a little bit painful. I would give it like a 7 out of 10 in terms of pain. It wasn't like the worst pain I've ever had. And it was also just uncomfortable because you couldn't really move, obviously, because you're in surgery. So you don't want to move your body and then, the needle move around. So it was just kind of difficult to be in that pain and not be able to like squirm or like move at all. But like I said, it was really quick, like 10, 15 minutes, max 20 if you include even like the start and the finish. And as I start taking out the egg, then the technician counts the number of eggs that were retrieved. So as things are going, you can hear the doctor talking, the nurse talking, and the technician talking. So it's also nice to be able to just listen to that and focus on what they're saying instead of the pain. I was able to hold my mom's hand the entire time, which was really nice, and she was actually able to watch the screen and see what was going on. I couldn't really see from my angle that much. I could just see little pieces here and there, but I think that's probably helpful, and it was really nice to be able to have my mom there with me in the surgical room. Afterwards, I might have been a little bit out of it, but I didn't really notice that I was confused or anything. I wasn't sleepy or tired or anything. Then I went back to the room that I was waiting in before, and they gave me some Tylenol because I was having some pain. And I basically just sat there for 30 minutes talking to my mom, asking how it went, asking her what she saw. She asked me how I was feeling. I was telling her about my experience. And then after the 30 minutes, I pretty much felt good to go. I got changed again and we left. And that was kind of the end of the process. Came home and took it pretty easy. I took the rest of the week off. Now, I did experience OHSS after I got the surgery done. And so if you're interested in learning more about that, I have a whole video about what happened, what I did about it, some tips that someone gave me about how to manage OHSS. So if you're interested in learning about OHSS or hearing more about what happened to me, then I'm going to put a little card in the top of the screen and you can watch that video. And with that, that concludes my egg freezing series. I really, really hope this was helpful for you. I hope it helps you make a decision whether you want to do egg freezing or not. For me, it was one of the best decisions I made and insurance policies that I could do for myself for having kids. And I'm really, really glad I did it. I have no regrets. I would do it again if I had to, but hopefully I won't have to do it again because you saw the price video. It was not cheap. That being said, I do think it's really, really worth it. And I wish you all the best if you do decide to go on this journey, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.